What's up, y'all? Bringing y'all a lunch special, Instagram Live. Got Irfan coming in. Irfan's gonna be sharing with y'all how he got 100 doors by the age of 35. So if that's not some motivation for you, especially for those that are at work, look, use that JOB money to make you some more money. I want you to invite. So I appreciate y'all joining in. Put your headphones on. There we go.
What's up, Anthony? How you doing, man?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here. So I got this live thing going. I guess I figured it out. So thanks for your help there.
No problem. Yeah, it's fairly easy once you do it. You're like, what I got to do? Nah, it's just a button.
That's awesome. Awesome.
But we appreciate you giving us your time, man, and want to say one, happy holidays, two, congratulations, 100 doors by the age of 35. Like, that's like a huge goal. Like, how do you start the process to say, like, I'm going to get 100 doors by the age of 35?
Yeah, so it starts pretty simple, right? It starts with buying one house, right? So when I got out of college, I started as a CPA, and I said, I'm going to buy one house as an investment property. Bought that one house. Then it became, well, if I buy 10 of these, if I buy 10 doors, have 10 of these on mortgage, and I have them on mortgage for 30 years, I'll be able to retire on just 10. Let me try to get 10, right? So then I get my 10, and then I'm saying, you know what? I can do more. I can get more. I can get more. Then the goal was, well, let me try to get 30 units by 30.
Okay.
Right? So every goal I hit, I kind of hit a few months late. So the 30 was a few months late, and then I had bigger plans, and I said, you know what? I'm going to try to get 100 by 35. And I went for it. I mean, I'm 6 months back, and I still have some of these under construction, but I mean, it is important
though.
I'm sorry?
I said, but you still have the building, so either way, you still hit 100 doors.
Oh yeah, definitely hit it. So I hit it, and then I sold a couple. So I couldn't make that announcement until I truly had the 100. So it was exciting. I mean, it's a goal that was accomplished through a lot of hard work too. So I don't think there was anything that I can say that I got lucky or there was any type of secret sauce to it, right? Like for me, it was, I mean, I'm still working up super early, getting my workday started super early, working hard throughout my workday and making it happen every single day to acquire that one more unit. Every unit is the same amount of work, right? So then getting it constructed, we have to go through that whole process. So everybody that I've talked to, they want to hear like a secret, right? and I just don't have that. I don't have that secret, and that's kind of what I would have to say is it's coming from hard work.
So even if we take that, right? So we get it, hard work, get that first door, right? So in that process, though, what was the mindset for you? Because initially you said you were a CPA. You went to college. You had you were a CPA. So you're working your 9 to 5. So would you recommend, like, hey, use your 9 to 5? Because if I listen to not Section 8, but if I listen to social media, they're telling everybody to quit their job. I'm a firm believer you need that job to build your foundation.
I think you need to do what's right for you.
Okay.
Right? So there, I mean, you see in social media, this billionaire started in his garage. This billionaire did this. Right. LeBron went from high school to professional, right?
Right.
You have those type of people. You have those all-stars that just can figure it out and make it happen. Start their tech business from their garage and make it a multi-billion-dollar business. But most people are like me and you, right? Most people, we need that type of job. We need that full-time income to initially start, get things flowing, get things rolling. That full-time income could be real estate. That full-time income could be very similar to the business that you're in, but right. I think that helps create that stability And then once you have that stability, you're able to get the bank financing. You're able to, I mean, for me, I had the CPA, so I was able to legitimize myself with the CPA acknowledgement. In real estate, you could also be a contractor, a licensed contractor. That legitimizes you as well. You can work full-time as a licensed contractor and then build your business on the side and eventually get full-time real estate as well. Like, it took me a long time. I transitioned at the age of 30. So I had 30 units. I transitioned at the age of 30. So
when you say transition, what do you mean? Like
transition to full-time real estate investor from nights, weekends, early mornings. I was building this portfolio.
Right.
And then when I hit the age of 30, that's when the true transition happened.
Gotcha. So I want to say fairly similar. So I quit, like for real, quit my job 2016, which was 6 years ago. Yeah. So around the same thing. So, but I got a little bit. Not a little bit. A lot of ways to go to get to my 100 doors. Put myself by next year. I thought I wanted to be at 20 doors. So I'm actually going to hit that goal a lot sooner. I'll be at 20 doors by the end of this month.
Awesome, man. That's awesome.
So, but I spent some time flipping in the last 3 years. So now I'm learning to, balance that out. I'll flip a little, but take most of that money from flipping to buy more units. And my goal is I don't necessarily want 100 doors, but I want to reach a certain cash flow. So if I can find the right programs outside of Section 8 to hit that cash flow, I'm all right. I'm cool. That's it. Like if I get to that cash flow number without all the different headaches, I'm cool. That's all I want.
Hey, you think that now, but once you hit that cash flow number, you might have a different story. So that was very similar to me. Like my initial thing was 1 unit. My next thing was 10 units. And
okay.
Did that was 30 units. And now I hit 100. I have set guidelines and set goals that I put in place, but I really have to make changes, right? Like now at this point, for me to grow, I basically had to take apart my whole business and start from the bottom, pretty much, right? And what I mean by that, like I have the people and the capacity to operate how I've been doing in the past, right? So I take a big role in construction management. I take a big role in oversight. We do have 9 people working for us right now because we do wholesale quite a bit too. But I think to get to the next level, I'm going to start from square one, right? Where we're going to we're not looking to get rid of anybody. We're gonna place people in designated seats. We're gonna bring in new people, some fresh blood, and really take it to the next level as well. So now I have that itch and urge as well to get to the next level.
So it's funny you say that. I literally in the last 2 years didn't realize, because again, I got into real estate thinking it was about me. I could do all things, but I think that might even be your secret sauce. You have people as a team that's helping you grow, because you couldn't possibly do wholesaling, construction, property management, bookkeeping, tenant placement, marketing, go on site visits to actually get acquisitions. All those things, like I just named 7 different roles.
Yeah.
Could do, but imagine trying to do that and sustain a balanced lifestyle of family fun, or even just building the proper business. So can you talk about how you built that team, and when do you think it's best to start adding people to your team?
Yeah, so in a way I was kind of lucky because I had a pretty demanding job where it required more than 40 hours a week. It required a pretty intense amount of effort too. So I knew I needed to work additional nights, weekends. I knew those are like, that's the most precious time, right? Nights and weekends are the most precious time. Most people will spend that time like watching Netflix. I didn't do that. I was more zoned into real estate. But that being said, I still wanted some flexibility and freedom because I was using the most valuable time to develop my business. So I started probably realizing that at around the 30 unit mark, right? Where I went out, I used to listen to a lot of podcasts at that time too. And I was listening to a Bigger Pockets podcast, and they're talking about VAs. You can hire VAs through Upwork. And I thought to myself, all right, let me try that out. Search for some VAs. I actually found a domestic VA that was in a real rural area of Michigan.
Okay.
Who was very well educated. She was willing to work for what I thought was a cheaper rate than I could get around here, and willing to work part-time. So that's how it started kicking off, right? She was working 20 hours for me. She did all the bookkeeping, bill paying. We would scan everything in, and she would figure it out and make sure everything was pretty tight. So I thought that was a great way to reduce my time and effort in it. And then I got connected, and I heard about offshore VAs, and I was able to hire an offshore VA. And I'm saying it like it's the simplest thing ever. The hiring process is a difficult process. We go through multiple people, and to find the right person willing to put the time and effort into the work that you're giving them is not the easiest task, right? So we went through multiple VAs to try to find the right people. At this point, we have 7 VAs working for us, 2 in the investment business and 5 in the marketing business.
Okay. So your business really operates, am I assuming, like 24/7?
Not technically. So we actually work U.S. hours.
Okay.
So the VAs will kind of shift their hours in if they're capable of doing it, right? So if they have to do something that does not require calling PGW, PICO, or anything that requires daytime hours, maybe just QuickBooks work. They might do weekends, they might do nights, which is mornings for them. So I allow some flexibility in that, but we do try to keep the daytime hours because it just creates more teamwork, right? So if we need agreement of sale done, we can call the one admin that handles the agreement of sale, and she'll get it done during the work hours because we're all working the work hours as well.
So I heard you say talk to Pico. So you let the VAs also call, Pico, PGW, and deal with that kind of stuff for you too?
I mean, I don't want to spend an hour on the phone, right? Like they have long hold times, and you can multitask while you're on hold, but you don't get the concentration you need. So I have them do that type of work. I have them do administrative work. We're not the best with processes and procedures right now, but we are getting there. We're trying to build on that. So anything that's consistent and requires the same processes and procedures, we try to have them handle, like insurance, AWR, which is American Water Resources,
right?
Things of that nature. We allow them to handle.
Okay, and can you talk about property management, like to manage 100 units, like property management wise? How does that look? And like, can you give any checks and balances for people that are trying to build that portfolio to keep the property management intact?
Yeah. So my opinion about property management is that it takes a lot of effort, a lot of labor, and it's a hard business to be in, right? So you don't have nice, welcoming phone calls from your tenants usually, right? You have, this is leaking, that's leaking, this is wrong. I need to get out of my property ASAP. I need to break this lease. These are the conversations you usually have. I found, initially, because I was working when I was building this business, I found that utilizing my time to find a good property manager was what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So I went through a few property managers who were good, right? Don't get me wrong, they were good property managers, but I found the guy that had the same mindset as me, wanted to grow, wanted to build a substantial business, wanted to build a business that they could be proud of. And we basically grew hand in hand, right? So now he owns, now he manages over 300 units. I'm still kind of his largest client, but we started, I first handed him off 8 units, and he had like a total of 12 at that time.
Okay.
But he was very passionate about his business, and he was able to make the adjustments needed to handle that type of volume. So he too has a few VAs working for him. He has an in-house construction crew to help with maintenance. He has different call programs to help route the calls. So all of this type of stuff helps him handle property management, and it helps me build my business. And what I think is the best moneymaker for me is acquisition and construction. Okay. Making sure I'm acquiring properties, making sure I'm acquiring distressed properties at a reasonable market value. Right. So I can take those properties and basically take those properties, rehab them, and then force an equity build on them. Gotcha.
All right, so I definitely like that. And I guess, like, what would you say for the beginners, not the people who are already in the game, but for the beginners that are struggling with like that first property?
Yeah. So I think I would have to say this, like, and I think this is where social media comes in, is you're only seeing the highlight reels, right? You're seeing the highlight reels of weight loss. You're seeing the highlight reels of buying a property. You're only seeing like the closing day. Right. What it takes to get to the closing day is a lot different. What it takes to get 20 pounds of weight loss is a lot different than one picture, right? It takes number one, it takes first mindset, right? So you gotta be truly committed, right? Truly committed. So I'm sure you've heard it, like any sporting event you go to in Philly, you hear Meek Mill's song, right?
Yeah.
And you hear Eric Thomas, right? In that one song, and he's like, you gotta feel the dream, you gotta eat the dream, you gotta.
Yeah.
And that's what it really is like, right? You gotta be so infatuated with the dream that nothing is gonna stop you from having that dream, right? Nothing's gonna stop you. And like, you can have the dream for 100 units, but to get 100 units, you gotta buy 1 unit, right? And to buy 1 unit is just not like sitting on the internet one day and a unit's going to come to you. That doesn't happen like that, right? So similar to like weight loss, right? It doesn't happen. You don't like think you go to the gym one day and all of a sudden you lost 5 pounds, right? So like every day, right? Every day you need to come in, you need to say, what am I going to do today to make me better myself, right? It could be, well, I'm going to spend, I have 5-6 hours of free time every day. Well, I'm going to spend an hour reading. I'm going to spend an hour listening to a podcast. I'm going to spend 2 hours understanding this specific neighborhood and knowing the valuation of every property that comes by in this neighborhood. And I'm going to spend an hour of networking. You do that every single day, like you're guaranteed to be able to buy a property in 6 months, right? What's going to happen is most people are probably not going to do that. They're not going to take the time and effort needed. And I've done a lot of that work, right? I mean, I was saying the other day, I started in Point Breeze when I started buying. In Point Breeze, I was so familiar with every property in Point Breeze that I could, if you sent me an address or told me an address on the phone, I could say, that's probably like a 2-story at 1,200 square feet, right? And then I would think, oh, that's a nice block. This is the price I would be around. Like I was just so in tune with that neighborhood, right? And it takes me a lot less time to analyze now. It takes me a lot less time to know what I want to buy. But that only came from like years of effort, understanding, trying to build my knowledge. And I think that's really what people don't see, right? They don't see weight loss, right? They don't see somebody going to the gym every single day. They don't see somebody eating 3 square meals that are calorie counted every single meal for weeks, months, years to make that weight loss journey happen. All they're seeing now is that the side-by-side picture, the fat picture, the skinny picture, right? Like there's so much more that goes on to it, right? So
Would you say that having a mentor would help somebody that's trying to reach their goals? Almost like
yeah.
you said to the gym, like you could do it yourself, but if you get a trainer, it might speed the process up. So how do you feel about mentors?
Yeah, so this is a mindset shift. I was completely against them, and now I'm completely for them. So like it doesn't make sense not to have a mentor, a coach, right? So earlier this year, I wanted to get back in a little bit of shape.
Mm-hmm.
I hired a fitness coach to help me out. She planned it out for me. She sent me texts and whatnot to see how I was doing. And I would say like, oh, I didn't work out today. I'm going to get on it tomorrow. I'll get on it tomorrow because I don't want to disappoint, right? I don't want to sound like a failure. So that was helpful there. I think entrepreneurs definitely have the mindset, oh, I can do this on my own. And I think that's a bad mindset to have, right? You can do it on your own. It's absolutely correct. You can do it on your own. But it's a lot easier to do it with the help of some friends. It's a lot easier to with the help of hired mentors. When I got to 30 units, I actually joined a mastermind. Cost $5,000 a year to join that mastermind, and that's a lot of money. I mean, even still today, I think that's a lot of money.
Right.
And it put me in a room with people that 30 units was too small for, right? The average unit count was over 100 units in that room. So what that does to your mindset is absolutely incredible, right? Like I bought to get into that group because I couldn't find that group with through myself, right? So for me, it made sense for me to pay the money so I can put myself in a circle that is such high level that I therefore become high level. So, and through that group, I met a few good guys in that group. I talk to them all the time. Like I'll touch base with them every couple months. And I might not get something from every call. I might not get something from every meeting, but maybe I'll get one thing that will buy me one more property. That'll give me $30,000 more equity, right? Like that's a lot of money. So that's how I build my business, right? Just keep grinding. Let me get that one thing. Let me get that one piece of knowledge. Let me get that one more unit. Let me get that one more hour of freedom, right? So that's really what it's all about for me.
No, so it's funny you say that. So this, just during the pandemic, I'll just say this last year. So with the family we created through the investment blueprint, like you said, like I'm one of the smaller guys out of the crew. You got other guys that got, like you said, 30, 50, 100 doors. Two of our members, their husband and wife, they each own 100+ doors. So, and that's what made me want to get aggressive, because being in that room, you're like, not that you feel bad, but you feel competitive. Like,
yeah,
well, if he got it, sure, she got it. Like, and for me, I sell the houses all the time. But
yeah.
my waves about flipping, and I was like, I need to get back to getting these rentals so I don't have to care about flipping.
Yeah.
My goal, literally just in this past year, I think I'm doing 12 units now, just in this year. And it was like, I didn't think I had that in me, but apparently I got it in me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I needed to be around certain people to tell me, like, yo, there's more. There's more. You know, like I told you, like, I think I'll stop it. You're like, yeah, okay, Ant. We'll see how you feel when we get to 30. But those are the kind of people you want to be around, that when you have these conversations, you don't feel like you're bragging, or they don't make you feel bad about wanting more.
Yeah.
But get in these certain rooms, it's all about why not and how.
Yeah, exactly.
It's why not and how, and you guys go execute it. And if you can't execute it, I could literally ask you or ask somebody in the group, and now you start putting the play together.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about, right? Like it is a little bit of competition. It's a little bit looking at the guy next to you and say, I can work harder than that guy. I'm smarter than that guy, right? And as bad as it sounds, like, I mean, that's a natural instinct. That's a natural thought. And that's what happened when I got into this mastermind that I'm in. I was looking around the room, and I was looking around and I was saying, look, there's nobody that's that much smarter than me. They might be a little bit smarter than me. There's nobody that started with that much more money than me. They might have started with a little bit. Like, there's no real valid excuse. And once you stop making those excuses, once you start seeing, like, you know what, this guy got it, and he started off worse off than me. He's probably started off with less education than with me. This guy probably started off with older than me, and I'm younger, and I got more energy. And
Right.
all those excuses just vanish, right? There's no more saying, you know what, this guy has this because of that. It's, well, this guy has this because he probably did that, but I got to do this. I got to work twice as hard as that guy because, you know what, he had a little bit of advantage, but I just got to work twice as hard. And you find a way to make it happen. I mean, it's very impressive to get to 12 units in 1 year. You know, it's very impressive. And I would probably say that had you not been in that group, you probably would not be doing that. Right. So no way.
Like, no, because for me, before being in the group, hanging out with guys like KR and other guys, it was like, nah, like, I'm okay. 1 or 2. I'm just good. 1 or 2. Like, let me take my time. I got time.
And you think you're better. You're doing better than your peers, right? So you're like, oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I'm doing better than this guy didn't buy any. Then your peers become, this guy's buying 40 units a year. Wait, how's he doing that? Let me try to do that too.
So funny thing is, like, literally, I just was talking to one of my good homies, Lorenzo, Jackson Rental Homes.
Okay.
And we were talking, I'm telling him something, and he's like, for real? He was like, all right. Next thing I know, he texts me, sends me a message. 6 to 8 units he's getting ready to do, in addition to what he's doing. So it's like, all right, I got to get back to the drawing board. And like you said, but it's friendly competition to keep making us better and putting us in position to, you know, to live how we want to live and take care of the people that we want to take care of.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what it's all about, right? It's more lifestyle at a certain point than money, or it's more building the business how you want to build it, right? So I think that's the driving difference between, like, the bigger players than the smaller ones, right? The game starts becoming different, right? Where it's more, well, how do I make this business and the process in this business for us? It's to handle more volume,
Right.
to create lifestyles of the employees that allow for flexibility and freedom, right? People can take days off.
Right.
And I'm the first to admit that we are very, very demanding at this point, and we're trying to fix that, right? We have a lot of work on our plates. We've grown a lot. We've had the same team from like 40 units to 100 units,
Which is
in
good.
the investment team. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now. We're just trying to make sure that everybody has happiness in their job, right? So that's where we're at.
So can you talk about that? Because I think a lot of people don't hear that part about, like you said, like, we know we want the goal, but that balance part that you just touched on about that we thought it was money we were chasing, but we're really chasing a lifestyle and mobility. So, like, how does that mobility or lifestyle look like? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so it changes, right? It changes as your life changes. So for me, in my 20s, there was none of that, right? There was no lifestyle. It was like, well, how long can I physically work every single day? And let me try to do that, right? And then 30 hit. I was a little bit more like, well, I got to enjoy my life a little bit more. I guess certain things in my life probably made me realize that, right? So, like, death might be one of them. lost a job might be one. So you go through those type of cycles, and you start analyzing your life. So 30 hit, I was more into that. And COVID, I mean, it's a terrible thing. I know there's a lot of lies lost in COVID, but honestly, COVID and the lockdown and the change of mentality that I had was a great thing for me, because it was, well, how can I focus more on a lifestyle balance for me? And at the same time, my volume went down very, very little during COVID, during the initial COVID lockdown. We went from buying 1 to 2 units a month to nothing for 3-4 months, right? So that happened, and I kind of sat back and I started realizing, like, I need to focus more on lifestyle. So I actually went out and I bought a boat. So, which it's the most ridiculous purchase. So I strongly suggest nobody out there buys a boat unless they're completely committed to it. But so I bought a boat. I go fishing during the season. I go fishing 3 times a month, right? So it's almost once a week. I'm going with a lot of real estate investors. So it's kind of dual function where I'm taking real estate investors out who are my friends, right? Like as you buy more and more units, your crew becomes other people that are buying more and more units, and they become your friends, right? Just naturally. So so I do that a lot. Also, now I have 2 young kids. So
what age?
2 and 4.
Nice.
So, and my wife has a pretty demanding job too. So we know that from 5 to when they go to bed, 5 p.m. when we pick them up from daycare to 8 p.m. when they go to bed, that's just solid time with them. Like, we're not trying to be on the phone. And I know you were trying to schedule with me in the evenings, and I was like, absolutely not. So,
I got you.
And then on top of that, weekends as well. So they wake up 7 to 8, and they're up till 9 p.m. And that time, that full 12 hours dedicated, I will still put 8 hours in the weekend working some weekends, right? But I'll do that. I'll get up 5 a.m., 4 a.m., and just do the work I need to do until they're up in the morning. So I'll find that way. But the flexibility that this job allows me, or this business allows me, is very important to me. So I try to make sure that I'm taking advantage of that, right? So
nice. For you, have you ever felt the time in the business, or even when you first were starting, like, did you have any fears? And like, can you talk on maybe like how you get over your fears through your process of growth?
Yeah, I think you always have fears. It's a very natural reaction to things. I think one of the things initially what we were doing was we were coming in cash, right? So from saved up cash, and I think the fear mindset, especially around 2009 when we were starting, was the fear mindset made you believe that debt was bad. Debt was completely bad, right? So it took a lot of time to get over that debt hurdle is bad. The other fear is I think most of the fear can be handled by knowledge or practice, information, communication. Like, those type of things alleviate a lot of the fear. So some of the other fear you have is with construction. Are the guys doing what they need to do, right? I think that gets alleviated by knowing what they're doing, being communicative about what they're doing, and being on top of the job, right? Which unit 1, 2 to 10 takes a lot of time because you're constantly going there checking it up.
Right.
Now we have procedures and processes. We're sending guys to take pictures, videos of what's going on. I review everything. I make sure that's happening appropriately. So that's kind of how we alleviate that fear. I'm running out of battery too, so that's how we alleviate that fear. And then the other fear comes from maybe your financials, right? So, oh, I'm going to make it. Well, if you know exactly what your financials are and exactly what your numbers are, you're confident that you're confident either that you're running low or you're confident that you're right on par where you need to be. So,
Gotcha. So, or you if your juice checks out, actually, it's funny you said that. My phone, I got it on the charger, but it's not charging. All right, I'm good. But when you just are we allowed to ask for your units and having the leverage, right? Do we ever do we pay off the mortgages, or do we keep refinancing, or like how does that balance act work with the being leveraged but not being too leveraged?
Yeah, so a lot of people say the word too leveraged, and I'm having trouble understanding what that means, right? So too leveraged to me means you're taking on loans that you cannot pay back. You're incapable of paying back. In real estate, they do something called DSCR calculations, and the bank helps guide you in taking on loans that you are able to pay back. Okay. So my interpretation of leverage on collateralized assets is you take as much as possible, much as the bank allows. And that allows you to get a 4.5% or lower interest rate these days. Leverage in the terms of overhead leverage in the terms of working capital leverage. That leverage, yes, you can. I believe that you can get over leverage in that leverage. And I think if you have, how I was able to be comfortable with that, at certain points in the business, I had several hundreds of thousands of dollars at very hard money rates, double-digit rates, just for working capital needs. And how I was able to do that is I was very familiar with my bookkeeping, my records. I knew exactly how much money I needed to make, how much money I needed to make to flip, cover overhead costs, cover interest costs, etc. And I think that allowed me to be comfortable with the leverage, and also allowed me to be less fearful of taking on more and more leverage.
Gotcha. Okay, I like that. So other than bigger pockets, do you have any podcasts that you recommend for people to check out?
Yeah, so I haven't really been listening to too many podcasts. I've been listening to Joe Rogan every once in a while, and so I don't recommend that for business. But yeah, I think I was saying this the other day. I might be losing a step, right? So if that's the case, that makes everybody behind me able to come in and make it happen, right? So anybody that's listening that's a newbie and whatnot, I mean, if you're on Bigger Pockets, if you're listening to business podcasts, money podcasts, you're gaining that step that I'm losing, right? So that's what I'd have to say to that. But I'll more read a book here or there about business and trying to keep my business organized and running smoothly. So that's more my go-to thing right now.
Give us your favorite 2 books, real estate related or non-real estate related, other than Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, so I liked E-Myth a lot. And E-Myth kind of says it's a baker in E-Myth, and she's really good at baking whatnot, but she's having trouble running her business. And I think it kind of sheds the light. It gets in your mind like, you know what? I could be really good at buying houses, but I'm not really good at doing all the administrative tasks. I'm not really good at banking. I'm not really good at this or that. So that kind of shed that light to me. I think that was a great business book. I would say the other one, I talked about this a little bit. There's a book called Compound Effect, right?
Okay, that one.
And it, like, to sum it up, it's real simple. Just making small incremental changes every single day will lead to massive changes at the end of the day, right? So,
well, like you said, that one that one house. It'll add up eventually to 100 doors if you keep going.
And that's I kind of summed it up, but I was talking about it earlier, right? Like if you go to the gym every single day, if you dedicate 4 hours every single day, make it happen every single day, then something's gonna come of it, right? But it's not just going and doing, just being there. It's being there and making it happen while you're there, right? Like actually putting an effort in there. So,
Gotcha. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you may want to tell them before we close out, that you're like, hey, I really got to tell them this because they need to know, or you think they're good?
I don't know. It goes back to the hard work and drive and work ethic, right? So I think if you want it, you can go achieve it. Don't let your mind make you feel otherwise. I was told no. I was told this is not a good idea to get in real estate. It's not a good idea to go full time. I'm still told negative things about real estate till today. So like, I think you gotta really set your mind and focus on the right spot, and you can make it happen.
Did your family think you were crazy for going full time in real estate instead of being a CPA full time?
Yeah, I didn't tell them that I was going full time for the longest time, right? So it probably took me like 6 months to tell them, and just like casually say, you know what, I'm full time. I don't get health insurance anymore. So.
You weren't fake going to work every day, were you?
No, not at all. Not at all. That would be intense. I told my wife, so.
Okay. Like, but honey, let's keep that under wraps till I'm ready to tell everybody else.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. So.
No, but that's amazing that, like you said, you have a wife. She's understanding. You guys are building the lifestyle and a teamwork together. So salute to you and your lady. So last thing, will we see you in 2022? Are you doing any other speaking events? You have any classes you may be doing? Anything we can look forward to seeing coming out of your camp?
Yeah, that's interesting you asked that. I'm not 100% sure right now, right? So I've got big goals in the business. I got to make sure that we are lined up correctly, and then from that, we'll see where I go. My intentions are to do more speaking events. My intentions are to do a class here and there, right? But I want to make sure that my solid business, which is the real estate investing, which is the direct marketing, is there, and I'm not letting down my teams that I have going over there. So.
All right. Well, maybe we could steal you for one afternoon or something in 2022. See what gets you.
Afternoon, I'm in, as long as it's not evening. All right.
We'll do a lunch and chat or something. We'll do something.
All right, I'm in for sure.
Right. Well, I definitely appreciate it again, Irfan. For those of you, please follow him. Follow his journey. 100 doors by 35 is an amazing goal. So, I mean, look, if he can do it, he just told you it's no superpower, no secret sauce. It's just putting in the work and staying dedicated. You said you've been buying since 2009?
2009. That was 1 unit a year in 2009. So 1 unit. And it took me like 5 years to get 5 units for 7 units. So.
Well, you heard it, 2009 to now, and now look, it starts as you start putting in the work like everything else. Eventually, it'll start pushing that momentum for you, but you got to start today. So take this time. It's only December 2nd. You know, January 1st is right around the corner. Start preparing yourself so that you can hit the ground running. We want to execute 2022. You sat on the sideline all because of COVID, because the market was going to crash. The market's still here. Deals are still here. So 2022, what's going to be your excuse, or what's going to be the goal you hit? So again, thank you again. We look forward to talking to you, Irfan, in the next event. I'm going to save this. So if anybody wants to watch this later or catch this on the YouTube page, stay tuned. And then also, I'm coming back tonight at 8 p.m. We have another speaker coming on, Ed Davis. I think, so funny you said that. So we're speaking to you with 100 units. If I'm not mistaken, Ed has 250 units.
Oh, wow.
But he's buying in it. I got to double check, but he's not buying in Philly. He's buying in Atlanta. So, you know.
All right, cool,
so like,
cool.
It's levels to the levels. It's levels to the levels. So, but again, it's not a bad competition. It's a good competition that everybody keep reaching their goals. So
yeah, absolutely. So
anything else you want to say before you go?
No, thanks a lot for having me. I really appreciate it, and hope everybody enjoys and they get something out of that. Get that one thing out of here. So makes it happen for them.
Well, I know I got 3, so I appreciate it.
All right, awesome.
Thank
All
you.
right, we'll talk soon then. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.